Hi, this is Linda with Casey Creations by Linda. I'm doing a tutorial for digital and SVG designs for you. This kit is available in her store. It is called the Men's News of the Day, and it is a belly band. I've got all my papers printed out. Let me show you what we're going to make today. Here's the belly band. It's got the little flaps. It goes like so on your page. We've got a little clock here. Got a little flap here that pulls out, or excuse me, a little pocket. Goes back in there. We've got a hidden pocket over here for this little card. It fits right in the back. Here is a little flap. It's got its own little card. All the embellishments we're going to do, we're going to add on. We've got some embellishments back here. We've got a big card, pulls out, and I back all mine, as you know. Then we've got another little flip here. This little guy is so cute. It's got a little brad there. It's loose on the ends, little embellishment. It opens up like so. Got a little ticket. This is cellophane that I put in the back. You can use acetate if you want. It pulls out. You can see our stately gentleman there. I back it also. Backing paper does come in the kit, so everything we need is available. So that's what we're going to be making today, ladies. Pieces out of the way here. This is what I've printed off. There's our clock, all our embellishments, the back with the flaps on it, so when you cut them out, make sure you don't cut your flaps off. We're going to cut out this window here. Here's our little flaps, these little pieces here. It's got tabs on each end. This is our bottom pocket. It's one of our cards. There's some more of our tags. A little card that pulls out from the bottom. There's our little ticket. And here's our backing papers. We've got lined ones. And this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out all my pieces and I'm going to back them so that we're ready for assembly, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got all my pieces cut out. I've got the ephemera that needs backing. I've backed it. Everything is inked. I've punched holes, and if you have one of these, that's what I use to punch the holes with. Just ink it around. I use Vintage Photo. That's my go-to. All my little embellishments are all printed out, so we're going to make the base. Can keep all my pieces together here without losing them. So what we're going to start on first is we're going to make this part right here, this little guy. He's our first step. So I've used a craft knife. Some people call it an X-Acto knife. If I can find mine on my desk, there it is. And I just cut it around. Make sure you get, if you're gonna ink, make sure you ink it in here before we put our cellophane down. I used a scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can use a ruler. It needs to be a very thin ruler. And you can just lay it right up against the line there at the top of your card. Just give it a little fold. And you can just fold it back. Now, I always ink anything that's got a tab. I always ink some on the tab. That way, because we're not perfect, when you fold it over, if I was to get off just a tiny little bit, this is going to be showing, and I don't want my tab to show. So that's just a little trick that I do. Also, this will be backed like so. So I ink the folds on it also. First, we're going to put down our cellophane before we put this guy on top of here. You can use cellophane. Cellophane is hard to work with because it's hard to see. It's so flimsy. At least it is for me. But I just cut it out, left a little border on each side, about 1/4 of an inch, because I'm going to need to put my glue down to glue him onto here. So that's what I'm going to do. Lay something on this little guy so it doesn't blow away. Have my fan on. The way I do it, and I'm sure there is tons of other ways to do it, but I just put some glue on the back of my card. Any overlap of glue I have, I just wipe it off. Take our cellophane. Make sure it's clean. I got a little dot of something on. There we go. Make sure you don't want to get up here, so don't overlap your little thumb hole there. Just lay it down best you can. Good old paper towel. Smear it down. And if you have an accident and get it too close, just barely dampen a paper towel and you can wipe it off of the cellophane. Or you can use acetate if you want. Acetate is easier to work with, but it's also heavier. And being this is a belly band, I didn't want it too heavy. Depends on what you're working with. So there, now we got our cellophane. I'm going to keep my tabs folded in so I can get them lined up. And we're going to glue this little guy right on top of him, just like so. A card is going to glue in here, so we're just going to put a thin line of glue. Cellophane over the edge there. I think I got it. No, I did not. No, I didn't. Okay. We're just going to put a thin layer of glue here, down here, and you can glue probably about 1.5 inches up if you want. Because the card that is going to go in here is only going to go down to about here. So you've got all that to play with. So just say go about 1 inch under your window there. You'll be good. And I use Aleene's Tacky Glue. A lot of people use art glitter glue. Fabri-Tac, whatever you want. It's what glue you like. Up here. We can. Press. Trying to keep my fingers off of the cellophane. Opening here. That's good. Now we're going to work on our little flaps. We have a right one and a left one. This one goes this way. And this one's going to go here. And there's no really where you put them. There's no rule where you have to put them. It's where you want. You just don't want to come down here really far, so stay up within your cellophane window there, because we're going to have a pocket here and it's going to have some things going down and we don't want our little flaps to be in the way. So again, I inked around it, I inked my tab, I inked the inside, and I inked the edge, because that's what you'll be seeing when you put your card in there. And I have this thing about white. I don't like white showing anywhere. So what I do, I did not score this. What I do is I scored my tab. I lined the edge of it up. I'm folding it over right on the score line. And then I fold this over, and this bottom piece will slide, and it's perfect. Now when we glue it together, we're only going to glue the side and the bottom. Just a very thin line. Edge here where I folded it. And I use finger daubers. I like them because I can get into little tiny places. There's all kinds of applicators. You can use whatever you would like. Okay, that's that little guy. I'm going to do the same thing on him. There's a little tab. I'm going to fold it over right over the score line. We're gently going to press it down, and that's going to move the back piece again to where it needs to be. Again, we're going to glue the side and the bottom. And a little trick, if you don't ink, see, I can tell which is my top because I've inked it. But if you don't ink and you don't choose to do this, always hold on to the piece that you are not putting glue on. Because as you flip them and fold them and turn them, you could get it upside down, which I have done many times, even with my ink. So a little press. Ink up our fold. Now you can see by inking on the tab, the fold line is a little bit to the right of this backing paper, and by inking it, when I put it on my card, it's going to look nice. It's not going to be white. So here we are. This is what we're doing, these little flips, and we're going to get them decorated first, get them all embellished. Let's start with the left one. Tab on the left. And let's see, we'll get these cute little guys here. We'll need 2 of those. And again, I just cut these out with the craft knife. And we need this little piece here. And here. And here. And that's just for our front. Oh, and we got a little these little guys. The thicker end or wider end goes at the top. And who did I put on the back? Let's see. I put this little guy on the back. So we'll get him out so I don't use him. So what we're going to do is first we're going to put this one down. And there's no spacing. Excuse me. You put it where you like it. I kind of put this one in the middle, slightly to the left, like so. I don't want to cover up my little words there, so put right under there. I've got about an 1/8 of an inch. I think I'll just scoot him over. Now I've got about 1/4 of an inch there. Our little circle. numbers. Now we're going to put these little guys on. Our little, it says, "Love never tires." And there is more embellishments in this kit than what I have cut out here. She always gives you a ton, so you can pick and choose what you want. Get the little guy straight. Come on. There you go. Now, if you wanted, I guess you could put a piece of cellophane back there if you want, but I'm going to leave him with a little hole there, and he's just going to go over, and the little top of him is going to extend over the top of our card. Just like this. Let me take the card out. Let's see here. So we're going to take, because this one will be on the back side, backing this, so these will not be glued down, so I'm going to put some ink on them. And I'm going to glue about half of him, of the top. So, like I said, where you put it, it's up to you. This is just the way I'm doing it. Okay, we got that side of him. Let's flip him over. And we're gonna do this. So we're gonna take our little guy again. And he's gonna go on the bottom this time. That's the way I did it, so it doesn't matter. You lay him where you want. We just got to get him lined up with the other one that we put on the front. The easiest way to do that is just take it, line up his edges. I hope I'm being camera enough here. Line up his edges. Give him a light press, because we want to check this side so none of him is hanging out, so he's perfectly aligned there. Take our numbers, and when you cut this out, you'll see that there's little notches here. All I used was just barely put that in there and just clip it off. It's just a normal old hole punch, nothing special. Make sure he doesn't hang over the top there. And my favorite piece of all, since I moved back to Texas with my husband, we were originally from Texas, I have a little Texas license plates. I thought that was extra special. Lone Star State. Just put him right here. Also, in your tabs, you always see that they're angled. You want to do that because if you were to put this down and get it just a little bit crooked, if this white on this tab was still out here, you'd be able to see it. So we just trim them off like that. We're going to take our piece we just put together here. We're going to line him up. Remember, we've got a pocket here, so we don't want to take up too much room. You can align him wherever you want. I'm going to put him right at the bottom of the window, or the bottom of this just barely covers the window. And what I do when I put tabs on, I take my piece, I get it lined up where I want it, I push it up as far as it will go, gently press, and then gently ease it over, and that way you've got a pretty good fold. Open it up, take a look, scoop mine in just a little bit. There you go, there's our first one. Notice that it lines up perfectly with this edge. Okay, let's do our other one. Top one here. So we've got our little windows. Separated. We got this little guy. I love this little guy. He is so cute. I cut him out with the scissors. I have not folded him. I'm going to give him a little fold now. I'm going to match up the best I can. Edges there, and if any little white, like right there, two choices: I can trim it off, or I can ink it, and it goes away. Then he's gonna come like so. Put him in here. He's gonna fit just like that. We're gonna put a brad in there. So we're going to take a little hole, let's see, pokey tool, there's my fold, and I'm going to put some ink on it so I can see it really good. And you don't have to poke through the back if you don't want. You can just fold his little legs inside and glue him down. This. Put him in there. Because nothing, this is just a decoration. A card's not going to go in it or anything. So you can just put it like so. Oops. I'm sitting here talking, not paying attention. Okay, correct my mistake. I could hear y'all screaming at me, no, put that on first. So let's get this little guy, lap him through there, then put a brad in. I can get him unstuck from my fingers. Some glue because I don't want the little ends separating. I'm just going to dab some glue inside there. Get it lined up again. There, isn't that cute? I thought that was such a clever idea. This is what we're doing. Remember the top one here? This little guy. So, okay. This little label. Glue him down. And you can put whatever you want on it. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. There. And then on this one, I put kindness on the inside. This time I'm going to put it on him, on the outside. Let's get him lined up there. This time this one is going to go to the left. On the other one, we put it to the right. Here, remember, we put it on this side. So we're going to put this one to the left. And again, the same thing. Ink the back of him. And his little friend. Go about halfway. Little glue on the little flap thing there. You don't have to. Very straight. We have this little piece here, and you can cut it like I did if you want. It doesn't matter. You can tear it. Look at this edge. See how big we want him here. About there, I think. There's our front. Now let's do the other side, which would be in here. So we've got this little guy here. Halfway in between there. Line him up with the front one. Yep, that looks good. Press. Now we can take our piece. Put him where we want him. You want to leave a little space in between because there's a card going in here. I believe it is this one. Yes, that's the one I put in. It's going to go in there, and this one here is going to go in here. And what is cute about this, when we put this on, when we stick this card, excuse me, when we stick this card in here, the top of the card is going to hold this one down, so it's not going to flap open. We can do it the same way. Put our glue, and when I glue just a tiny bit away from the score line. Right up as close as you can get. Hold it gently and then push him over. See how he looks. I want to scoot him in a little bit more. That's what's good about liquid glue. You do have some time to play around. Usually the second time you push him in, he'll stay where you want him. There, now we have our little flaps. So let's get this little pocket here. These are the pieces that go to it. This one goes on the top of that one. When we glue this down, because this is going to be a pocket for this card, it's going to go here. We're going to leave the top open, so we're going to glue the sides and the bottom. I'm going to ink my top, just for good measures. You'll never see it. I'm going to move him up just a little bit. Try to leave the same distance between the bottom of this one and the bottom of our card is where I chose to put mine. Get him lined up there. This is going to go over that and hide it, so your pocket is actually hidden back there. Now we glue this one. I've already done my little cutout here, and this one I believe was a 1-inch circle. Just put it in there, punched it out. We're going to glue the top, the side, and the bottom. Line him up perfectly on top of the one we just put down. Now we have our little pocket back here. Get the ruler so I can have a little pocket here. We have a pocket here. Got all of our embellishments. Let's go ahead before we decorate, put our cards in. Let's get them backed. I've just cut out a strip. It's bigger than this, and I'll show you why I do that. I'm going to fold this over. Ink the top of this. This was just one of the scraps. Clean up that edge just a little bit. Now when we glue this down, we have another hidden pocket for this little card. He's going to go here. So I'm going to line up my edge, and I'm going to glue down. Here's a little, let's see. I think it's the little guy, not the big one. Correct. The little guy's got the number 8 and the gentleman on it. He's going to go here. So I know he's going to slide in right there. So I'm going to turn it over. Get my pencil. And I want to give him some room to move. So about the end of that one, that's where I'm going to leave open, so that when I turn it over, this is open for me to slide the card in. So I'm going to glue down here, the side, and all of this. Make sure I got him right side up. Your edges. I'm going to put glue right to my pencil mark there. This is, oh, excuse me, this is the opening here. So I'm not going to put glue there, but I'm going to put it on the back side, or the opposite side, and along the bottom, leaving all this area open. I do is I take my backing piece, make sure it's right side up. I line up my edges on the left here, move them up, right under there, under my flap. Then I fold my flap over to make sure that it's not over the top of my score line or my flap wouldn't fold. And that flap is for when we glue it down to our page to make our belly band. Up here. There we go. A little bit sticking out because my paper underneath wasn't straight. That's okay. You can trim it off. I'm going to fold my belly band backwards, take my craft knife on the bottom. This is just, to me, it's easier to do it this way than to try to cut my back piece exactly the same size. I'm going to use my score knife. Now, with this flap, or our little flap where it's folded over, we're just going to angle our craft knife and go underneath it because we don't want to cut the flap off. I've got a little bit sticking out here, so let's trim that off. And if you'll just angle your craft knife, instead of keeping it straight, if you'll just angle it, you can cut right up under there to trim off our little extra piece here. Opening right here for our card. Now, let's decorate our pocket here. I just cut out the center using my craft knife. I used my punch here to punch the little holes. You can see, let me grab something that's white. I punched out the little holes here. I'm going to glue him down there. And we've got this little strip here. I'm going to tear it this time. And when you tear something, you want the good part to be on the top so you can tear to the back. Because if you don't and you do it the other way, you're going to have all this white sticking out. So let's kind of see how big we want him. And I'm going to tear both. I'm going to make him at an angle here. And got my edges. You can put another one if you want. She does include this in the kit. You can tear these, do more embellishments if you want, add them on. There's a little piece of newspaper print you can tear off and use it. You've got these strips you can also use. So I'm going to put this little guy down. She is making Digi and SVG designs for you. She's making an entire journal and ephemera set for this, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And I can use my little belly band for it. Let's do just tier 1 here. Let's put some of this on it. I'm sure it's a little bit wider than that. I'm just digging my fingernail into it and holding this fingernail over the top. You can make as exaggerated as you would like. Get him inked up. Make sure he's not too big. Nope, he's good. Them. Yeah, got that decorated. You can do whatever you would like. I mean, we got this little guy. We can add him, or you can put him here on this little pull tab, or you can take one of the little holes she provides here, just cut it out, and that would probably be a 3/4 of an inch. Let me see. Oh, that's a little big. Let's try a half. That's really going to be off. That one will work fine. This is, what is this one? A 1/2 inch? 1/4 inch. Yes. And you just take inch, the smaller one, the little guy in there, lined up without sticking my head in the camera. I'm always showing you the back of my head. I don't like it either, ladies. Okay, I'm going to use the bigger one. Just get the hole lined up in there. You could put this on there if you wanted. Just giving you some options. You could put him just like so. You could put this little guy, or you could just leave it like so. I like him like he is. So I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to glue him here. Now, let's make our little card that goes in here. This one. I cut mine in half. It comes on the paper like so, and I just cut mine in half. That's because you can put one on the top and then put it on the bottom like so, or you could have just folded it and glued it down on the top. It's up to you. Okay, so we're going to put glue on this about halfway. Put just a tad bit smaller than the card, so just make sure that you leave the same amount on each side. Get it straight. Take his back. Cover it in glue. Match it up the best we can. Trim off any little edges. Before we press them down real hard, we're going to check them. Make sure there's nothing hanging out. We're good. So we'll give him a press. No glue sticking out there. And he's going to go right here. Like so. Then our other little card on our original goes out here. It's one with the number 8 on it. It's going to go in our hidden pocket. Remember, we didn't glue the back on right there. Slide him in. We have this big long one. It says, "Let your smiles be scattered like sunbeams." This gentleman here. This is where we're at. Let's take these cards out. This is what we're doing right here. And this little guy, I'm going to put him here at the bottom. Centered in there. We have it. Now we've got this tag. It's going to go in the top. Put my finger in there. My goodness, Linda. And if you ever have trouble when you've glued the sides, if you ever have trouble getting your cards in, let me show you a little trick. Again, you need a very thin ruler. Plastic is better. Just take it and run it along your card, and that just kind of frees it up. You can actually just kind of turn it just a little bit to raise the back off. Because we spent all that time getting it flat, now we need to unflatten. Just slide that one in there. You can put some baker's twine, a little piece of jute in there if you want. Now we have this card. He's going to go behind here. Just like so. And again, I need to open him up a little bit. Sometimes our glue smears just a little bit more than we want it to. So we just fix it. I'm just taking the corner of my ruler and gently running along the inside just to make sure there's none there. Card in now. Now he'll go in there. Just like so. Take a little watch. And I just cut this out. First of all, I back it so that it is sturdier. So I've got it on my backing, like so. I've glued it down. I just cut out a big square and then I start cutting around it. When you're cutting out something that's got it's very thin, it's better to cut it out before you cut the rest of it out. It just gives it the paper, it makes it a little bit more sturdy so that you won't cut into your paper. Then I just took my craft knife and cut all in there. And then I took the scissors and cut the rest of him out. So he is going to go there to hold down this flap. And this little guy is going to go here. Make sure he fits. Just like so. Now we just have to make his little guy, and that's this one. Now you can do this two ways. You can take your hole punch, 1/4 inch punch these out when it's open. You can fold it, pull up your thing with a little plastic shield so you can see in there. Put him in there, turn him at an angle instead of like so. Put him like on the edge, get it lined up, punch him out. Both are identical. Glue him together. He's gonna go right in here, that little pocket. There you go, ladies. There's our cute little guy. Now you can also take this, and that's what I did the first time, so let's make it same. I folded this little guy in. I put him in behind here, and the top of him pulls it down. Like this one. Take our watch, put him behind there, and he's gonna hold that one down. So there is our belly band, lady. We're going to glue this and glue this, put it on your page, and then when he's glued down, you'll have all this is open on both sides. Another thing, if your page doesn't hold a belly band, whatever, you could just cut this off, and since I have two of these little guys, I'm gonna use one for a belly band and one for a card. I'm just gonna, when I use my card, I'm just gonna cut my flaps off. You have a cute little interactive card. I hope you've enjoyed this. Give it a try. Again, you can pick up the set at Digi and SVG Designs for You. I will put the link to her store in the description under this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. You have any questions at all, reach out and touch me. Just get on Etsy, KC Creations by Linda, contact seller, and I'll be glad to answer any and all of your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.